Hello YouTube, this is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another daily Blizzard upload. This is Starcraft 2 Life vs. Innovation in game number 3 from their round of 16 series in the IEM Masters Championships in Katowice 2015. This is on the map Deadwing LE, which is a 4-player map, which means we'll have to see some scouting from each of these players before they can decide where the other person is. And we'll hit the nameplates up. I'm going to try to remember those all the time, get production tab up as well. We can see what's going on. So, and just to recap the last game in case you didn't see it or skipped it, in which case, shame on you. The early pressure from Innovation wasn't really enough to slow down Life's economy. By the mid-game, Life had just a huge army of Banelings and Zerglings. The creep spread was out of control up to the third base of Innovation very soon. Innovation was not able to push up and do much damage at all to any of Life's economy. The game went on probably a little bit longer than it should have. Life was patient, just kind of starved Innovation out, finally saw his advantage, rolled up the natural, rolled up the main, destroyed everything that Innovation had, and Game 2 did go to Life, tying up the series 1-1. So, here we are in Game 3 in this best of 5. We'll have to see what Innovation is able to do. Will he choose to go mech? Will he just use the same strategy he has in the first 2 games? We'll have to see. Zerg is reactive, so depending on what Innovation does is what Life will most likely do. If it's Marine, Marauder, Medevac, and Widowmine, we'll see Zergling, Baneling, and Mutalisk in response from Life. And if it's mech from Innovation, on the other hand, we'll likely see Swarm Hosts, which can lead to long games that can really annoy StarCraft 2 fans. There have been a lot of calls for either nerfs to mech or to Swarm Hosts because some of those games can go over an hour long and people get really bored watching those. But a lot of people have argued that's the only way for Zerg to handle that mech attack from Terran is those Swarm Hosts. And so they say, what do you want us to do? The other avenues we have to defend against it just aren't good enough to win. So we'll see those Swarm Host attacks go on for a very long time. We have the 15 hatch going down for Life. He does what he knows, and there goes the spawning pool as well. More drones coming down, an early command center even before barracks for Innovation. So maybe we're going to see him forego this harassment entirely this game, or at least the very early Reaper harassment, as it didn't do very much to Life's economy in game number 2. So where he figures it's a large map and he'd have to scout out. He doesn't want to worry about knowing exactly where Life is, and so he's just going to macro up, get his economy up and going, and try to do his damage in the late early game or the early mid game, I guess you could call it. The scouting SCV looks like he's going to go exactly where he needs to go in order to find out where Life is. Yep, heading right up the right side, sees the natural, heads up and up into the main, sees a transferring drone, and decides that's all I really need to worry about and time to head on home. Maybe see where this drone's going. Oh yes, he is following the drone, trying to prevent the hatchery from going down, but it does go down. A really quick third from the Zerg player in response to what the scouting overlord sees, that the barracks is late. The Reaper has not come yet, which means there's probably a command center in the natural, which means if there's going to be a 2-base Terran this early, I'd better be a 3-base Zerg in response. And so Life does what he needs to do. Getting that 3rd base up very early. He's going to be trying to connect the bases with creep to help with defense against the attacks that are likely to come fairly soon. We do have a factory being built very early for Innovation, so I wonder if this is just for Widow Mines, but we'll come back to that, see what he builds out of it, keeping our eye on the production tab. We have 2 Zerglings being made, 3 drones. Income tab, we have 24 harvesters to 21 for the Zerg, so he's in the lead, but the effects of those mules are pretty much enough to offset that kind of a difference. So you'll notice under the income tab that the Terran and Zerg are at about 1,000 minerals each, and there's not much of an advantage there for the Zerg, even though they have a 3 harvester lead. So mules are good equalizers when it comes to economy against Protoss and Zerg. Another scouting overlord coming in along the left side. First scouting overlord still alive, being guarded by this single Marine. The 3rd base is up for Life. He injects it right away with a Queen. His timings have been excellent in this series so far. Injects again as soon as he has 25 energy on that Queen. Again, injecting is something that sets apart the pros from the amateurs. It's something that I struggle with, making sure my inject timings are crisp, especially as the game goes on. But Life seems to be able to hang on to those, even in the midst of a huge battle. And that is what makes him the best Zerg player in the world. In my opinion, it's a huge factor. Hellions chasing down a single Marine. Poor little guy didn't even have a chance. Follow these Hellions on up, see what they can do. It's just 2 Hellions, and they are scouted out by this Marine, this Zergling at the Watchtower. They come up the left side, and he has to know there's a 3rd base here because he hasn't seen anything really coming from life, so it's no kind of a 2-base all-in or a 1-base attack. These Hellions are joined by 2 of their buddies, just hanging out at the Watchtower, seeing if they can scout, seeing what Zerglings are coming down from life space. But the production tab, we see just more workers and queens, a couple Zerglings, and a spine crawler with speed coming down for life. So both players really settling in for a good macro match. It is 2 base, yep, still 2 base for the Terran, 3 base for the Zerg. And from that factory, what are we building? Hellions, we have a Banshee coming down with Cloak for innovation. So something we haven't seen in this series. We're going to try to get some harassment down with a Cloaked Banshee. The Overlord, however, is coming in trying to scout everything. Does he see the starport? He does not see the starport. Oh, okay, so the Hellions transformed into Hellbats. There's a large group of them coming in. We do have a wall with a spine crawler. These queens are trying to prevent them from getting on in. The Cloak Banshee doing tons of damage to these queens. The queens are being forced back and back. Life felt like this wall was secure, but I don't think it was. Zerglings coming in, getting roasted alive. A spore crawler trying to go down to deal with this Cloaked Banshee. And are we trying to morph? I don't know if we're morphing an Overseer or not. These Hellbats are doing so much damage. They don't do much damage against buildings, though. It will take them a while to take down that Spore Crawler. Spine Crawler gets 2 kills. The Banshee just going to town. 5 kills now. 6 kills. 7 kills. Going up. Nothing. And their Spore Crawler is built. Does seat. Manages to take down the Banshee. Innovation was not paying quite enough attention to that one Banshee, but there's another Banshee in the back that has come up, taking down the Vespene Geyser. Doesn't want to get too close to that Spore Crawler, just out of range. Cannot be seen. We are now morphing an Overseer for life. So a lot of damage going to the 3rd base with this Banshee and that Hellbat attack. I don't know that Life was ready for it. He did lose 11 workers. Still has the lead over Innovation, though, 60 to 55. The Banshee is being chased away and will be destroyed at the same time it takes down a Queen. So the Banshee did a good job. 14 Harvesters and all dying to that combined Hellbat Banshee attack. We do have upgrades going down for the Zerg player, +1 attack and +1 armor for the ground units. We have Stem Pack, Terran Infantry weapons level 1, and armor level 1 going down for innovation. So after that early harass, it looks like we're just settling on into Marine, Marauder, Medevac. Widowmines are building, Medevacs are building, upgrades are going down. 3rd base is established for innovation. It's 3 base against 3 base for the Terran. A 4th base is going down for life, but it's just getting started here. It won't be saturated for, I would say, at least another few minutes. Spine Crawler moves into the front along with the Spore Crawler. Worried about more Banshee pushes up the middle, so I'm going to get the Spore Crawler in there. Also useful for detecting Widowmines, which is nice. This Spine Crawler is in a perfect position to help against these Marines coming up the right side, but they could just be picked up. They are attacked, though, by these this group of Zerglings and are forced to run away inside the Medevacs. Banelings are morphing on the high ground. Spore Crawler is still alive, which is, again, useful for detection, taking down Medevacs, and other great things you want to kill as a Zerg player versus a Terran player. We put the Spine Crawler on the high ground here to prevent any more low ground attacks from those Marines. A smart choice, in my opinion. Yes, Marines are moving on up, taking down creep tumors. Widowmines are burying. In preparation for this attack, the Widowmine engages, takes down 6 units, including a couple Banelings, but then gets destroyed by those Zerglings and the passing Overseer. We're chasing these Medevacs up along as they come into the main of life and unload in the bottom right corner. This is a pretty big group of Marines. They do have 1-1. They do have stim. They do have the support of 4 Medevacs. They stim on in. They're going to try to, take down the spawning pool. They focus down the spawning pool while taking down Zerglings that are coming in. The splits are good. The Baneling hits are okay. But more and more Zerglings are streaming in. A Baneling hit happens, forces the Terran player to run away. Mutalisks show up just in time to chase off the Medevacs. The boost runs out. And the Mutalisks are going to try to take down the medevacs before they can escape. A second army of Marines comes up from the bottom. Widow Mines are buried. Friendly fire does take out a couple Marines. They camp out behind the mineral line, doing a lot of damage, taking out Zerglings, doing some damage to the hatchery, and pushing right up into the natural of the Zerg player. These Stim Marines are just difficult to deal with, especially being held by these medevacs. But again, finally forced back by a large flock of Mutalisks who take down a single medevac. And more Zerglings are coming into reinforcements, trying to take down the Marines before the Widow Mines can activate. Not quite able to do so. Again, friendly fire on the Terran units. Just excellent timing there from Life, knowing when to go away while the Widow Mines are activating and when to come back. He must have done a lot of study in that in order to recognize exactly when to leave versus when the Widow Mine's buried. So, fantastic play. These Widow Mines are kind of on their own, trying to escape. Where is the Overseer? I don't know where the Overseer is. We got to take these out before they recharge. And there comes the Overseer from the left side. Finally able to take down all 3 Widow Mines before they can cause too much more damage. And we have Banelings being morphed. Pneumatopi's Carapace going down for the Overlords for the speed. We have Zerg Flyer attacks level 1. Vehicle and ship plating level 1 coming down for Terran. So it looks like he wants to make his medevacs a little more beefy against those Mutalisk attacks. We have a good split of Marines coming on up, taking down creep tumors. Worried about Banelings. But we have a rather large Mutalisk attack in the main, trying to take down this missile turret. There are not enough to do so, and they're forced to flee. In the meantime, this army for Innovation is content just to sit up in the middle. The Mutalisks are trying to take down the engineering bay, but they're not able to do so before their responding army for Innovation shows up. Attack right up the middle lane towards the second and thirds is cleaned up halfway by the Zerglings and Banelings. Marauders hammering away 3 kills, 2 kills on these guys, 0 kills on that one. Banelings rolling in with Mutalisk support from the right side, being helped by the speed on the creep. Baneling hits are pretty good. Mutalisks and Zerglings should be able to clean up this remaining army. Medevacs boost away, wishing they had that one armor upgrade, and reinforcements show up. Banelings, Marauder. Again, the back and forth in ZVT can be very intense, difficult for either player to deal with. A surround comes on from the Zerglings, but the pickup again prevents the Baneling hits from being too effective, although 2 major detonations do go off, but not enough to take down the bulk of this army. More detonations trying to come in. The Banelings do manage to take down 3 or 4 Marines. Widow Mines at the front. Unfortunately, the Queen gets picked off by the Marauders and the Marines. More attacks coming in. Banelings morphing in. Zerglings attacking. And it is just non-stop action here at the third base of Life. If he loses that third base, I think he loses the game. But there are enough Mutalisks to take down the attackers, to take down the medevacs. And there is no more medevac support for this small land group. There are several Widow Mines, though, and some good detonations could turn this tide very quickly. The Mutalisks come in, see what's going on, back out before the Widow Mines can hit. The Widow Mine does get destroyed again before it can get its countdown there. The Mutalisk flock is getting bigger, and with that +1 attack again, they're just that much more effective. Zerglings are rolling in. Not many Banelings being morphed right now. I just don't think there's enough time. The Zerglings chasing down this army that doesn't have medevac support, and as I say that, 2 medevacs show up. So they take their stand at the Xel'Naga Watchtower. Again, the Mutalisk flock I just think is too big, although 1 big Widow Mine hit does get off. Is able to destroy 2 Mutalisks, it looks like. That Widow Mine does have 2 kills now. And things slow down a little bit. Income tab, 67 Harvesters to 68, 66 to 68. Very even game there. We still have 4 base. Yes, 4 base for the Zerg and 4 base for the Terran. Another drop lifting off there from the third base, the fourth base rather, of the Terran player. We will keep our eye on that guy. Meanwhile, the Mutalisks are coming down for more harassment, trying to find angles in which to attack. A Changeling is dropped at the Xel'Naga Watchtower to keep an eye on things. Mutalisks coming in. Innovation has to know what's going on, and the Widow Mines do explode, taking out several of those Mutalisks. 1 hit kill, 1 kill, 1 kill. Is it just 1 kill on each of those Widow Mines? I think it is. So maybe 3 Mutalisks, not as many as I thought. Did damage several of them, but they do have the tissue regeneration upgrade. Or I guess not an upgrade, just a basic skill that Mutalisks have, allowing them to regenerate life faster than most of Zerg units. Banelings rolling in, getting several hits, taking down Widow Mines. Marines attacking again. We have Zerglings coming around the backside, trying to help the Banelings get hits, doing pretty well, forcing the Terran player back. Medevacs coming to the Xel'Naga Watchtower to unload and heal up. We do have flyer attacks level 2 coming down for the Zerg player, as well as a Baneling Nest. Did he lose his Baneling Nest? Anyway, this Zerg got picked up, recognized by the Mutalisk flock. There were only 3 Marines left. Not enough to handle this many Mutalisks. Although, maybe he'll get 1. He does not. And the Medevac is chased down and destroyed. Meanwhile, another attack up to this spot. This is the killing ground for this game. A lot of units have died here. The Marines are 3-3 at this point, 21 minutes into the game. Zerglings trying to do what they can. Banelings retreating in the face of this attack. Mutalisks, again, trying to do their best. But I just think the spread is too good. The upgrades are too good for innovation. The 3-3 is just too effective against this. The Mutalisks take another hit from a Widow Mine. That one with 6 kills. Life recognizes this is an untenable position, calls out the GG. Innovation takes game 3, taking the series lead 2-1. We'll have to see if Innovation can finish this off 3-1 in the next game, or if Life is able to bring it back 2-2. But in the meantime, this has been Falcon Paladin. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe. You'll get StarCraft professional games every single day. You can visit me on Twitter, subscribe to my tweets there, and Facebook at /Falcon Paladin on both of those sites. And until next time, this is Falcon Paladin. You take care of yourself.